Hello.
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 Hey,
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 3 of the Argent Airways podcast. I'm Redcleaver, and joining me today is Ella.
Hello, it's Ela Lightris again, your local pop star.
Absolutely. We have Vivian.
Hi there, Vivian Skybreaker here, the mostly mute Forsaken who likes to stick random objects into her eye socket.
Okay.
okay.
we have Xuyagu.
I'm on some Xuyagu, a green forest trollmon from the hinterlands who didn't think of an intro this time.
Whoops. So professional. And of course, today we have our guest. Please welcome Zach.
Hey, I am most known as Zach, the proprietor of the Curious Octopus in Borealis, where I run the beginner bar for about a year or so.
And as we all agreed, the first episode of our newest season should be devoted to the newest members of the RP community.
Glory to the newbies!
Glory to the newbies. So, what's today's discussion topic, Xuyagu?
Well, for this episode, our discussion topic is going to be a topic that I think is also quite new player friendly, which could be combat events, how to approach them as a new role player, and good things to know or keep in mind.
Okay then. Right. So combat events. This is something I've come across with new players quite often, especially as a GM. As for how would you guys approach helping a new player with combat events?
I guess I would tell them not to be a hero because World of Warcraft makes us, the players, believe that we are some sort of superheroes. And in RP, most people agree that they are not. That, in fact, they've probably never even met any of the champions of Azeroth. So to act like one and to act like the champion would be a little bit strange in the RP community, I think, personally.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
I would agree.
But personally, I would say it very much depends on your character's experience. And of course, excuse me, with certain races, obviously there are different factors like age, experience, and whatever, like I said a moment ago.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, if I was to approach any one of you as a new role player joining my event, combat event, whichever it is, I would say to you, well, pretty much what Vivian just said. Don't act like the hero, and make sure that you accept consequences. Like, for instance, if you do something that's morally grey, like burning down a barn.
Yeah, or setting fire to buildings underground in the city, for instance.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Consequences are going to happen. Sorry, Biv.
You could get hurt, and that's okay. Just go with it. It will give the healer something to do. You don't have to be invulnerable.
Yeah.
How I say it's like when you enter roleplaying, you're the average Joe now. You're not some big hero of Azeroth. You're not you're a guard or just a random soldier or a mercenary or something. Combat experience is limited to the world, and yeah, you're gonna mess up and get injured and stuff. And it's I think the start of role-playing, what I had to learn when I first started in combat events was accepting the fact that your character will fail.
Oh yeah, that's important. Yeah. No one's impervious to failure, and if anything, it can lead to interesting character development, especially if your character considered themselves this big-time hero. If they suddenly fail, that can lead to some interesting situations.
I have noticed that a lot of role players actually decide, oh, hey, I'm going to be a role player now. I'm going to create this amazing character that can do this or can do that or has this amazing original concept that nobody else has, or I'm going to be a race that nobody ever plays, and they don't ask why not, and they don't know anything about them.
Oh, yeah.
That's how it happens that I've seen Dark Rangers walking around Stormwind.
That far be it from me, of course, to tell someone how they should be creating characters, because I don't pay for their account, so I can also excuse me. All I can really do is offer advice, and if I was to offer advice on someone making a new character concept, I would say the more mundane you make your character, the more people will want to roleplay with you. At least in my experience, I found that out.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone can be a warrior and everything else, fine. Be a paladin, be a warrior, be a hunter, whatever. But not everyone needs to be a hero.
What do you think?
Oh yeah, Zach, what do you think?
What does Zach think about this?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's a big question as well. I would say that it is important to think about where they are coming from, what previous experiences do they have. Have they played other role-playing games, for instance, D&D or any other kinds of games? What are their expectations for the combat event? Is it that it'll be run sort of free form without a system, or are you going to do a lot of roles during the event? So we've been running a few events with combat in them, and some players were very new to it, and it takes a fair bit of explanation to get them to get the hang of it, sort of.
It can be quite complicated. Sometimes even I get lost during combat RP, but people who know me know that I get lost a lot. So if I don't get it, then a new player definitely won't either. So yeah.
Interesting that you bring up systems, role systems and what have you. There's a difference between a structured role system and pre-emoting. Preferably,
Yes.
I would go with rolling myself, because pre-emoting is all well and good. Again, I'm speaking from my own experience here. Pre-emoting is all well and good, providing that you know the person that you're going to be fighting. Otherwise, you run the risk of someone being a Neo impersonator, dodging every shot and what have you.
Yeah. For us, it's a newbie episode. Do you want to sort of explain a bit of what free emoting is exactly?
Oh, yes. For those who don't know, free emoting is basically a style of combat RP where you essentially emote that you attempt to either defend or attack your opponent, and they react accordingly. As I said before, however, it can lead to situations where either character can refuse to get hit.
God emoting.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is no fun for anyone. But obviously that's not the case for everyone. The other style is, of course, rolling, dice rolling for attacks or defending whatever you're doing, like a D&D session.
Yeah. I think I probably personally prefer rolling. Now, like you emote and then roll.
Yeah.
Because I've done a lot of free emoting in the past, and whereas I, generally speaking, I won't have my character hit for a while, but at some point I'll make sure they are hit because they aren't untouchable.
Yeah.
I think the good thing with the emoting, then rolling for it, is like you can do pretty much anything you want within what is possible for your character. But
True.
also is not forcing the other player to do anything they may not want to do with their character or whatever. And you can always sort of play into the failure. Like if your character would normally say be quite hard to hit or knows the sort of attack they're reaching, something could have distracted them, or there could have been a like a slip up somewhere, or just
Yeah, that's where I've heard a lot of So after starting up quite a few different combat events myself, I've heard very mixed opinions between people who like rolling and people who like free emoting.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people will be afraid to start doing rolls because they, as we've mentioned, they don't want their character to fail in a way that they wouldn't normally fail. Like a mage failing an arcane check.
Yeah, we've all been in those situations. For the D&D players out there, we've all been in those situations where you try and do a spell or attack or whatever, and you critically miss.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
it happens.
It
a
happens.
lot of people have been are usually quite worried about doing rolls because of that.
Mhm.
And I think the whole point of roleplay is using your imagination. And if you fail a roll, peak time to use your imagination because you've got to think of a way your character would fail that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like, for example, Vivian used to be a scout chief, scout overseer in the Frozen Paw clan back in the day. So she was the chief scout. She was supposed to be really good at scouting, but how many times has it happened that we were in mid-event and I rolled a 2 on scouting, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
I had to come up with something, and I would emote that a wasp would get stuck in Vivian's eye socket.
Yeah.
It can
Should
lead to some very
flail
funny
around.
situations. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great for
You know-
improvising.
Yeah, but even the most skilled person sometimes encounters bad luck, and other
Absolutely.
factors also come into play. So I feel that even if you might even, with a failed roll, you still succeed at what you wanted to do, but your situation got worse or something else. That's like you said, that's an excellent opportunity for good role playing, and it's actually failing something can lead to more interesting consequences than succeeding sometimes.
Oh, absolutely, and not just in combat, but in anything really. I always love to say that drama creates RP and drama builds character. So that goes for any situation you find yourself in RP. Sometimes your character gets hit, sometimes your character almost dies, sometimes your character loses something important to them, or have to start all the way from scratch. Those resets are, in my humble opinion, what makes RP worth it. The uphill climb that you constantly have to do, and the victories you get to celebrate along the way.
Absolutely, yeah. The more, what's the word, dynamic you make RP, the more rewarding it is.
The tip to newbies there would be imagination is key.
Absolutely. And if you do find yourself in a free emote situation, just consider, excuse me, just consider the fact that your character is not, it's not a god, and getting hit isn't too bad.
Yes,
Yeah.
do not be afraid to fail.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
do improv in real life, and whenever somebody fails at improv, we collectively, as an improv team, applaud the person that is failing. And it is such a boost to one's confidence. So whenever you fail in RP and your character screws up somehow, just imagine the Vivian's RP group, Vivian's improv group applauding you.
Real life
And
RP
cheering
group.
Yeah. A real life RP group is right there behind you saying, you can do the thing.
Yeah. Is there anything you wanted to say on that, or Zach?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I was also thinking about if I ran a combat scenario with a new player, I would encourage them to think outside the box, try out things that doesn't necessarily just mean that you're slashing with your sword or something like that. Are there inventive ways to solve the encounter? Perhaps you try to intimidate your opponent into putting down their weapons, or you have some clever solution how you can stop your opponent from attacking. I would definitely try to push them in that direction, because that would make the scenario, the combat encounter, much more interesting, I think.
This reminds me of something Jackie Chan once said in an interview. He said, everything is a weapon. And he literally means everything. If you look at his action sequences in the movies, he just grabs whatever he can find and suddenly it becomes a weapon. If we could use the same type of creativity in combat RP, it would be, well, for starters, a lot more amusing.
Absolutely.
And secondly, a lot more original. And you wouldn't have to worry about getting disarmed because everything is a weapon.
We are on the top. Ooh,
Sorry, Ella.
go on.
Carry on. No, you. I spoke over you.
I was going to say, since we are on the topic of combat RP, that is mostly to do with melee combat.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time, finding your own weapon, making your own solutions to stuff is melee combat. And I did want to talk into a bit about magic combat and the difference and the kind of rules there are with that. So whereas melee combat, you can use your imagination, you can freeball it. Magic combat, you do have to stick to a few rules depending on which magic sector you are. You can still use your imagination for the spells you cast, but they have to be the spells of whatever caster you are. So if you're a shaman, elemental spells can be any kind you like, but has to be around elemental area. For mages, any kind of arcane, fire, frost spells, that kind of idea.
Mm-hmm.
And touching on magic as well, Ella, there are also the less scrupulous schools of magic, like Shadow, Void, Fel, and stuff like that.
Yes,
Which people tend to avoid in character because these particular schools of magic are frowned upon generally in character.
They can complement like other things as well,
Exactly,
though, using those.
They can, yeah.
That's what I do.
And I believe also that these magic schools have certain spells that will influence other characters. Am I right in saying that? Like mind control spells and what have you.
Sort of domination magic,
Yeah,
right?
exactly, yeah. Like spells that will ensnare another character and what have you. How would you go about introducing that?
For me, that's very complicated because Vivian is Forsaken, so I am not sure in what way these spells would influence her. Like sometimes people try to get into her mind, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Is that even possible with a Forsaken?
Well, she has a mind, surely. She'll be able to walk otherwise.
Would people be able to mind control a Forsaken?
That's a good question. Maybe we can discuss that another time.
I think, magics is something you should learn second. You should learn the basics of melee combat RP first, and then if you're a new player now, try dipping into the magic slowly, because as you get further in, there are more rules you have to stick by, and it can be quite difficult to learn.
Yeah.
For me, I was learning light magic, and when I first started that, I did not know the limitations of light magic. I didn't know what I could do, what I couldn't do, and that's what you've got to try learn depending on what class you are. Like,
I mean, I'm sure there are limitations. Sorry, Zoo. Spoke over again.
I would say, though, I wouldn't, because you only mentioned melee, I would say you should limit just melee, ranged as well. Melee and ranged combat. But it's important to differentiate ranged combat from magic combat.
That as well, because if you're shooting someone with an arrow or a bullet or even a mortar piece, as we once did in our particular RP group, there obviously needs to be limitations on that, because shooting someone else's character in the head with a bullet is the quickest way of making enemies out of character, that is, which is obviously to be avoided.
With physical range like bows and stuff like that, it's really up to your imagination again.
Absolutely,
I guess. Using whatever like you could change the ammunition, the weapon you're using. It's all up to you.
Up to you, yeah. Before we move on, however, if I could just touch on role systems real quick.
Yeah.
I can only speak from my own experience, but introducing from one GM to another potential one, introducing a role system to your guild, I would highly recommend that you keep the role system simple and then build up on it as you go. For instance, in my guild, I'm Wolf Clan, shout out to them. When newcomers enter the guild, it's assumed that they're not that experienced with combat RP. So at first, if they're in combat events, we get them to do normal rolls, roll 20s as we use. Only when they advance in the guild in rank do we introduce them to our combat system, and even then, that's simplistic. But it's a nice way to help progress the character in question, we have found, and people are generally taking to it a lot quicker. Don't overcomplicate things. That's my point. Don't overcomplicate role systems. The easier they are, the more the person enjoys the event that you're using the system on with, rather.
Yeah, I get that, because I started a new kind of combat system in the TK guild, and TK is not primarily a combat guild. They're a merchant, like they sell stuff, they do shows and whatnot, and quite a few people in there were asking for a combat sector. Kari does do combat every now and then, but she isn't able to keep up with it. So
No, neither am I, really.
yeah, so I've managed now to start up a combat system in that guild, and I think one thing as well that should be offered to any guild you join is to make combat optional.
Yes,
it's always optional. You do not have to do combat RP.
Also, shout out to Kari in our Argent Airways basement.
Yeah, I'd also say with that, with combat, like combat's optional, but so is the severity of any wounds your character may take. That is that should be completely up to the player.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Speaking of newbies and introducing them to RP, I believe our guest today is heavily involved in this topic. So I believe you're part of a guild that helps new role players, Zach.
Yeah, that's true. Law and Order does we do try our very best to help out new players, and that's sort of a little bit of our shtick, if you will. We ran the Curious Octopus for about a year. I put it on.
It has been mentioned many times in this calendar, the Curious Octopus.
Yes.
I was sad to hear that you are no longer doing the concept like that, but I do understand, and I also think it's very cool that your guild is still dedicated to it.
Yeah. Let me just preface by saying that I am not the most experienced RPer in any way, and I am probably not even the most experienced person at guiding new players either. There are people out there who do a lot of great stuff, really great stuff at introducing new players to the game and to RP. We can return to that topic because I have something to say about that. But yeah, we ran the Curious Octopus, a sort of a bar meant to help introduce new players to RP, and we ran it for about a year. And almost every week, actually, we had a new RPer come visit us. So that was incredibly fun and exciting to do.
What kind of new RP was this? What were they looking to do?
All kinds, pretty much. We had everything from people who had heard about RP. They came into it without having played any kind of role-playing games before, and they had just picked it up from somewhere and wanted to try it out. And we had people coming in, they had been playing role-playing games, they had been playing computer role-playing games like Baldur's Gate or other kinds of games. And they realized or had heard that there was this aspect of doing this in World of Warcraft and wanted to try that out. So they had some kind of familiarity with role-playing or RP through other mediums before. So we had all kinds, really. People who knew absolutely nothing and had to be helped with how do I write a custom emote to new RPers who had never RP'd in World of Warcraft but were experienced role players, and they took to it quite quickly, actually.
How did people find out about the octopus? Did someone send them?
I'd like to know because we spent so much time thinking about how to advertise the Curious Octopus, and we thought about how to get the word out. We actually spent a lot of time thinking about that. Argent Airways, of course, being one of the ways that people probably heard about it. But we put up a forum post. I used to advertise weekly on the big 80 EU RP Discord. I put up an event post there, and I guess that word of mouth also spread the word. So yeah, but I never really got the hang of. I should have asked people more often, how did you find out about us?
So now we have to try and mention lore and order now and then to make sure the new people can find you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have a particular place that you help people in?
Not yet, and to be perfectly honest, we've been on the back burner for now. But the idea is to provide a more personal experience for new members of our guild.
Okay.
But all new RPers, I sometimes stand around in Stormwind or Dornegal and poke people who have new RPer in their TRP profiles and ask them if they want to play with me. So I've got a couple of characters. I mean, I can even open up the bar for players who want to have a more personal sitting in the bar. Because that was the main issue, really, why I felt that the bar wasn't really working out. That sometimes we'd have new players coming in, and we started out, the bar wasn't very crowded, and then it started to fill up. And I noticed how the new players got very quiet, and after a while they just left or excused themselves, very often saying that they felt overwhelmed when more experienced RPers came in and sort of took up space. So that's sort of the issue that we never really got around doing the bar. And I wanted to try to give new players a more space to try things out, pretty much. But honestly, I haven't had a lot of time to get this off the ground. It turns out that having a set day for doing things is when things happen, and when I took that day away from myself, things didn't happen.
As the most like newbie role player here, I will admit, hearing that reminded me of when I started. Basically, about this time last year is when I started role playing, and
It feels like so much longer.
yeah. So around this time last year is when I first ever started role playing on my character Ela, and I had that same feeling of pressure. Is I would walk into a bar or something, see loads of people sitting around, and my brain just stopped working. I didn't know who to approach, what to do. It's very much just to see a lot of people in one place and a lot of experienced role players. For a new role player, you don't want to talk to any of them in case you embarrass yourself or ruin their RP or something like that.
I totally get how that can be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Everyone goes through that initial period of nervousness, don't they? Everyone does.
Yeah.
All you got to remember is the fact you're not RPing yourself, you're RPing the character. I dare say. Oh, sorry, Vivian.
No,
carry on.
I was just thinking, once I was in the Curious Octopus with one of my characters, Alex, and I noticed a new RPer, and the first thing I did was OOC whisper them to get the proper add-ons. I think you really have to start with the proper add-ons, otherwise you just get overwhelmed and lost. So I immediately told them about the joys of Listener, especially the snooper window of that add-on, Listener, and of course TRP. And for everything else, I told them that's for later. First, get used to these two.
Yeah, I had so many conversations like that with new players who turned up without TRP or just asking what add-ons would be useful, and just helping them set everything up. That's very helpful.
It is very helpful, and not to show off or anything, but I RP'd way back in vanilla, and this was a time, of course, when fancy add-ons like TRP and TRP Extended didn't exist. I didn't even know add-ons existed until I was really getting into it. So it would have been nice to have had Law and Order around, or other places like that. Luckily, I found a couple of people who, by chance, that helped me through it.
If it's any help to anyone watching, how I managed to get around is asking figureheads, I guess. So when you're at, if you ever go to some of the markets and stuff, the people who run the stalls are probably some of the best RPers to ask on how to start RP.
Absolutely.
And any people like Grashka, guild leaders, Grashka, Kari, all of them, and just anyone who creates the events. If you're on ADEU, the roleplay Discord server, any people who are creating events on there, ask them, because they will guarantee want to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, good
Or if they
eggies, all of them.
Good
they
eggies.
can probably point to someone who can.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to ask for
On
help.
that,
Mm-hmm.
on that topic, actually, I have to do a little bit of a shout out for the ADEU roleplay Discord. Jeremy and the mod team, they instituted a few guides for new players, not just new RPers, but new players. And I was actually picked out to be one of those guides, along with the stellar player Mirella, who is a really good person at helping new players out, and Thundertaker as well. So there's actually dedicated channels in the ADEU roleplay Discord now for new players they have their own channel to ask questions and a few channels with resources meant purely for new players, both the new RPers and new people.
I will also
people who are
point
new to the game.
Sorry, Zach. I'll also point out that the ADEU Discord server link will be in our YouTube description.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that goes along with figureheads. People who are around is a good to ask when you're new.
Absolutely, don't be afraid to ask, because I can guarantee you there are people, experienced RPers, that were also just as nervous as you were when they first started out. Everyone is nervous when starting a new thing. You really can't go wrong if you ask someone for help.
I will say, maybe not everyone will want to help you. Some people just won't want to do that. But I wouldn't let that get you down about it. There will always be people there that you can ask that will be more than happy to help you out with those sorts of things.
Absolutely.
Maybe even mentor you.
Is there
And don't let one bad encounter scare you.
Oh, yeah, that as well,
because there are, moving between different RP communities now for the better part of 1.5 years, the vast majority of interactions that I've had have been great, actually. They've been really good.
I remember when I came to the Argent server from Shatar, it was very different than it is now. People were more strict and even slightly elitist and mean, in my humble opinion. For example, in Shatar, it was normal that when you talk to somebody OOC, you would speak within double brackets. So I tried it in Argent and I immediately got at least 3 angry whispers thrown at me, keep OOC in whispers. Blah, 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 blah. And nowadays, I see I see many people do it. Like usually you use whispers as much as you can for OOC stuff. Use whispers, but every now and then you can get away with a quick double bracket message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are going to be
I
people
remember-
that take it way too seriously, but don't let those people get you down.
Certainly.
Yeah, but Argent Dawn has changed. People have become nicer. I finally found a character concept that suits me after trying and failing with both a troll and a Tauren character. So if you find it difficult to find your ground in RP on your current character and it's a new one, just start over. Just try a different one.
Yeah.
Focus on their lore for a bit and see if that one suits you better.
Workshop a little bit, you know.
Yeah. You don't have to stick to the same character the moment you create them. You won't have to play them after 20 years, you know.
Unless you want to.
That's-
Yeah, you can if you want to.
If you can,
I
yeah,
hope you
great.
play Vivian for that long.
As a final little note as well to mention, TRP does have a way to notify new players of a guide, and that there is a little newcomer's guide symbol that some people put on their TRP. Those people you can definitely go to help because they've specifically put their newcomer guide.
Is that the green flag?
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
Ah,
It's
good.
the Murloc that's beginner players and the green flag that's the guide.
Right. So look out for the green flag people. As they're now known as. Zach, is there anything you want to add to this?
I could talk for hours about this topic. So,
Wow.
and if you're doing another episode on systems, I'll talk for another hour about that. Let's move on.
Not a bad idea, that.
Maybe we can have a feature-long episode sometime in the future about it.
Absolutely. If you guys would like us to do that kind of episode based on role systems and what have you, please let us know. Either on our Discord or the YouTube comments section.
We have a new questions and answer channel.
And that as well,
Use it.
yes.
We do, yes, we do.
Yes,
Feel
we
free
do.
to use it.
Indeed we
And
do.
basically just get involved with us in any way you like in the Discord channel that we have. The link to our server is in the description below.
Absolutely.
You can give us feedback, you can ask questions, and you can suggest topics, and you can do shout outs. Those are always fun. We have a lot of shout outs today. You'll hear them later.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, I believe it's time for the events calendar.
Yes. And my voice is probably going to be different for this one, as it's not Vivian doing the calendar anymore. It is I. I have taken
Yeah.
over the job for
Brace-
brace
Brace yourselves.
It's
I
pretty
did-
much
I
the
did-
same thing.
I did manage to help a little, but I'm definitely handing the reins over to Ella's capable hands here.
A variety hire.
Yeah, a little bit of variety, a little bit of change up. Maybe you'll like mine more. Who knows?
Oh,
Oh!
Ella!
Anyway, let's get started. So, today's calendar is going to be running from the Thursday the 10th to Thursday or Friday the 18th of July. I forgot to change that. So anything mentioned in this calendar are always server time, aka realm time. Sources are from the Argent Archives ADEU RP server and from Ela Lightris took a peek at the forums. Remember that events are sometimes added last minute and may not appear on this calendar, so make sure to check the sources above if you're making RP plans. So, first day, tomorrow, the Thursday, July 10th, we have the Shaman Circle Gathering hosted by Iron Wolf Clan's own Resha Golsong. She invites you to the Shaman Circle devoted to Sanctuary. All align themselves with spirits and elements to gather and discuss matters of the world at large. The gathering involves open discussions, speaker sessions, storytelling sessions, training, workshops, and community events. I see it's in the Outlands. Out of character, it will be the Throne of Elements in Draenor. 8 PM neutral. There is also a lot of bars this night, as it is bar night. We have the Diamond Lounge at Hovel Hill in Undermine. The Falcon's Nest at Falcon Wing Square Inn in Eversong Woods. Little Pandaria in Lakeshire Redridge, 8 PM. the Scarlet Witch Hour in Darkshire, Dustwood. The theme for this one is beach, so dress accordingly for the Witch Hour. I should mention with the Little Pandaria, they have temporarily moved due to sharding in Stormwind. So that's why they're in Lakeshire. And finally, the Rose Inn, Stormglen Inn in Gilneas. Simple. So Friday, the 11th of July next. This will be the start of the Fellow Allah Festival with the opening ball. This is the Blood Elves festival for Horde only this Friday. It will kick off with a ball starting at 8 with an opening speech and then a guided dance by a Krona, as well as a photo booth. The Fellow Allah will run from the 19th, so you will hear a lot about it in this calendar. It's, of course, 8 p.m, Quel'Thalas, Shrine of Dathramar, Sunstrider Isle, Horde. And yeah, this event will be brought up a lot. Also on July 11th is the Poetry Appreciation Society in Dawn's Blossom Jade Forest, 8 p.m. neutral. And the Shady Brawl Night, where it's time to settle once again on who will become the ladies' champion. Come kick some butt in Northshire this time due to sharding in Stormwind. This is, of course, 8 p.m. onwards Alliance. There's also quite a lot of bars on this day. You've got the Crescent Whisper in Stillwater Pond, Eversong again. The Groggery in Pinky's Groggery Borealis. Little Pandaria at Lakeshire Redridge. And the Blue Recruits in the Mage Quarter Stormwind. However, this is currently sharded, so do a /who recluse to see which members are online and send them a whisper to be pulled into their raid to get into their instance. Saturday, the 12th of July then, we have the TK Summer Sizzler. This will be a 2-day event that will be in the heart of Sholazar Basin. You can expect a fashion contest that you can participate in. The theme is beachwear, of course, as well as a water gun fight, a mystery dunk where you will dunk a TK member into the water. And then on day 2, there will be a karaoke night planned. This will
The mystery will be revealed later, just so you know. Will be revealed in the shout-out.
This will be from 8 p.m. onwards. It's in Sholazar Basin, North End. And over 2 days. Day 2 then of the Felavar Festival. It will be a dueling tournament. Steel on steel, no magic allowed. Come and join or watch the dueling to take place during the Blood Elf Festival. This will be from 8 p.m. onwards, of course, in the Falfiren Academy, top level of Sunstrider Isle. Being a Blood Elf roleplayer, I should be able to pronounce these better, but guess not. Also on this day is the Gilneas auction. This will be in Gilneas at the Greymane Court, 9 p.m. real time. Faction is Alliance only. They have a quote from their AA page here. Auction held on Gilneas by House Donorers and Breeze Dancer Clinic, with help with some of the locals for funds on the rebuilding. Food and drink will be provided by the Rose Inn and the Blackwater Company and Rain Blossom Brewhouse. There are 2 bars on this day as well, the Diamond Lounge, once again, in the Hoverhill Undermine, and the Blue Recluse, which you will have to /who recluse in Stormwind for that. Sunday, the 13th of July, is the day 2 of the TK Summer Sizzler. This is the karaoke part of that event. You can use Storyteller to spam your lyrics out during this, and the TK host will give you a YouTube link for the music, and there will be all set. The theme for this will be dance and rap, and there is room for you to do your own thing. This is, again, in Sholazar Basin, 8 p.m. neutral. Next day of the Felavar Festival, if you could not attend the melee duels, there will now be on Sunday magical duels to participate and watch, where there will be fights of magic. This again starting 8 p.m. Horde only. Being Sunday, there's also the Horde gathering at the Crossroads, as always, so make sure to go check that out to see your fellow furries, dead people, tusk lips, and long ears. This is 8 p.m. onwards Horde. And also, the Exiles Emporium is a draconic market in the Azimuth Isle. Kalimdor, spelt with a C. Well, ideally, at least, it will be in the Emberi village in Shadowmoon Valley, and which was where it will be used. You can sign up to run a stall with someone called Yunloth. That's Ynloeeth. And you can find more on the Argent Archives page.
Don't diss my spelling. I was trying to help you.
Then there's 4 bars on this day as well. There's Storm Maidens Inn, Keel Harbour Tavern, Gilneas, the Crescent Whisper, Stillwater Pond, Eversong, the Blue Recluse once again in the Mage Quarter Stormwind, or moved, and the Shipwrecks Tavern, Tolbarad. Moving on to Monday the 14th, day 4 of the Fellovar Festival with racing and archery. Whether it is by Hawkstrider, Wolf, motorized vehicle, or whatever you feel comfortable riding, push it to the limits and race through the streets of Silvermoon. Then after the racing, take your chances at archery. It is a staple of Thalassian combat, and this contest will be of accuracy and most crack shot among us. Archers of Azeroth will battle across for a bracket to find consistently accurate shooters among them. Check out their AJ page for the track for the race and the point system for the archery if you need. That's the only event on Monday. There are no bars or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday the 15th, Market Day, of course. We have both the Duskwood Market and the Jade Forest Pandaria Neutral Market. Both markets will be open from 8 p.m. onwards, and you can pay a visit to your favorite stalls and meet up with your friends. If you find if you find that Dorm's Blossom is empty, then you could possibly be sharded, as Blizzard still forgot to fix that. So you might need to send a whisper to a friend that you know is there to get out of the shard by getting an invite. This also comes with the next day of the Flame and Folklore Night, which will gather around the fire and share your stories for those in need of encouragement or merely refreshment, cocktails, and such. Then Wednesday the 16th, we have the Fellovar Trivia Night, which everyone gathers around the table and enjoys some trivia, buzzing questions, and multiple rounds to go. Take your chances to win and claim to be the champion of the Fellovar Trivia. This, of course, 8 p.m. in Silvermoon again. Bars this night will be the Wandering Lamppost in Booty Bay at 8 p.m. and the Storm's Maiden Inn and the Keel Harbour Tavern, Gilneas. Moving quickly on to Thursday the 17th. This is a long one. We start with the Rivals Den in 8 p.m. Realm time. I see it's somewhere deep in Gilneas. Out of character, you'll be meeting at Shadowfang Keep Court. Faction is neutral. It's fight night once again in the Rivals Den. Head over, place your bets, and watch the fights begin. Maybe take part in yourself and get stuck in. Medics are on standby in case of injury. Check out the AA page for more details or message Yasmin. Talking about Yasmin, I want to make a little note. I believe today, the day we're recording this, it is her birthday. So happy birthday.
Hooray! Happy birthday,
Happy
Jan!
birthday,
Happy
Yasmin.
birthday, guys.
Happy birthday.
Next on this day is the Cocktail of the Month in the Shady Lady. This will be 8 p.m. In Stormwind. I don't know if they've moved it or not. It was not said on their AA page, so you may have to check out in case they've moved it. If you fancy coming down to the Shady Lady this night, you have a chance to make your own cocktail with them. Moving on to the next one, Fellovar Pilgrimage and Poetry Circle, also on this day. Walk the Dead Scar together, honouring the memory of the fallen, where at the end we launch candlelit boats and tributes. Afterwards then we'll be around, we gather around and lounge to enjoy some poetry, storytelling and tributes. This is of course being Thursday, it's bar night, loads of bars. We got the Diamond Lounge, Hover Hill Undermine, You got the Falcon's Nest in Falconwind Square in Eversong Woods, Little Pandaria in Lakeshire Ridge, the Scarlet Raven Witch Hour again in Darkshire Duskwood. Theme for this one is beach again. That might change though. I should have double checked that. Then the Rose Inn Stormglen Gilneas. This calendar I've extended out a bit just for the fellow Allah festival. I'm getting it. To Friday the 18th, as there is quite a few events I wanted to mention in this one. Friday the 18th of July, there is the Drakfair Conclave, starting at 7:30 server time in a beach in Foralis, Kalimdor. Faction is neutral. This is the monthly gathering of Drakfair and other races to meet new and old friends and enjoy food and drinks, games together as well. Everyone is welcome. The event will include seasonal event, mount race, food and drinks, music, and a raffle. Also on this day is the July Steam Tonk Tourney and League Meet, which is the gnomish gathering for the toy tank racing, I believe. This will be for 8 p.m. There's going to be food, drinks, merch, and the tonking will start about 8:30. This will be found in Tol Vir Udum. That's Old Dum, so Uldum. I know there's a lot of different versions of that place. Old Deer, Oldawar, all sorts. But this one's in Old Dum. Then there's the Fellow Allah Jousting, a test of balance, strength, daring spirit, where you mount noble steeds and face off in 1v1 passes to determine the champion of Tilt. Then this will mark the last of the, I think, social events for Fellow Allah, where after this will then be the closing ceremonies Saturday and Sunday. There's also a lot of bars on this Friday with the Crescent Whisper, Stillwater Pond, Eversong Woods, the Groggery in Pinky's Groggery Borealis, Little Pandaria in Lakeshire Ridge, and the Blue Recluse, where you will have the Slash-Who Recluse in Stormwind to get a hold. And that's it. It was a long one. I think that was probably 15 minutes.
Probably. I didn't check, but it was a very long one.
The end note for this calendar is simply, again, if there is an event on here that that pops up that wasn't in our calendar, make sure to just check out the sources in case any new ones pop up, or if there's any towards the next podcast.
And very well done there, Ella, I must say.
Yes.
For your first time there. Very good.
Too much speaking.
How was your throat?
Awful.
Now you know how Vivian feels. But
you did really well.
Oh yeah, very well, very well. Right, now is the time to move on to shout outs, I believe. And we've got a fair few of those to get through, so
oh yes.
Yes, we do.
Who therefore will be going first?
Let's see, we have an order.
We do? Wow.
Yes, we do. We're actually taking turns this time, you guys.
That's just because there's so many.
Yeah.
No. We'll give Ella a little break after all that talking.
Okay, so Zoo, should we start with yours? Then we'll go down the list and back up to Ella.
Yep, so we have a shout out from Horatio Whippleton, who was recently partaking in the Stromguard campaign and wants to shout out the Helder Goldhelm and Camille Belfleur. They provided so much of the auxiliary healing in the background, making sure people were kept alive and able to stay in their flight to continue role-playing. We have a shout out here from Bobby Valentino of the Blue Recluse. They want to shout out Miriam and Rihanna Roda, the twins of the Blue Recluse. They're both amazing and do so much to make the tavern the success it is. Nenovi Lovejoy, Del Bellora Beaumont, everyone over at the Houses of Bloom, their neighbours in the Mage Quarter. They also want to shout out Caldarian, Kyness, Grim, and all the gang at the Guild of Thieves for being awesome and supporting Bobby and the Recluse from the very start. And finally, from Bobby Valentino, we have a shout out to their partner Ash, partner of Bobby, for being his rock and sticking by him. I have one more shout out here from Utah Greenbow. The shout goes out to all the enterprising ones working hard to make every Azeroth marketplace a beautiful concoction of community, creativity, and goodwill. For all you budding business owners, pardon me, break a leg.
Well, we've had Kalimdor with a C and
Disposers.
Ozers. Nice one.
Tongue-tied.
Oh yeah, it happens to the best of us. Don't worry.
Who's next?
I believe it's you, Vivian.
Is it me? Okay,
Yes.
very well. Then I have a shout out for Shelley Sparks. Shelley Sparks does amazing fireworks shows, and she did a rather spectacular one, timed to music even, for Vivian's birthday party in the Undermine. Shelley, you were amazing. Thank you very much from all of us. The next shout out is from the darling Queen Kari herself, which we keep in the basement, so I will try to say this in Kari's accent. Hi everyone, Kari here. I come from the depths of the Argent Airways basement to shout out the TK Studios Karaoke Summer Sizzler event taking place on Saturday and Sunday, the 12th and 13th of July, starting at 8 p.m. server time both days. Saturday will be a beach outfit contest and you get to dunk Jadith, the lead singer of the Saronite Valkyrs, into the water. What's not to love? On Sunday will be our karaoke event as normal. Now back to the Argent Airways basement I go. And there's a link to the Argent Archives page. We can put that in the description below. I suppose I will give that to Grashka later.
Please do.
Next up, I have a message from Alistair Stallnorth. Alistair says, and it's Icily, so I should try to do another voice. If you are looking for heavy artillery for your ship or military unit, or any small arms, ranging from flintlock pistols to powerful rifles, Stallnorth Industries has it all for your protection. That's absolutely his voice. We've managed to track down Stallnorth Industries at the Gilneas Market. He's open for in-game mails if you need him. His email name or in-game mail name is Stallnorth. Stallnorth. And those were mine.
Please forgive me if you heard me laughing then, because Vivian did that voice whilst I was midway through drinking my water. And
You're welcome.
right, I have two. Oh, pardon me. I have two shout outs here. The first one is a message from Ela Fraser from the Dove. As Storming is currently sharded to bits, the Storming market will take a temporary break. We hope it'll return a month or so. If there will be a market in between in another spot, we should be sure to let you guys know.
That is why it was not mentioned in the calendar, if any of you were curious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, if there is a market in between those times, you'll be informed. Right, and next up we have, if I can find my notes, there we are. We have a short and sweet shout out from a person named Ashlan Arlen. And they want to say hello to Rina. Please forgive me if I get your name wrong. That's hello Rina. And the person who submitted this shout out has also said, I have no other information, so just hi.
Wow.
Hi, Renee.
Hi, Renee. Hello.
Hi.
Nice to know you.
From all of us and your friend,
Yeah,
Ashley.
from all of us. Okay, then.
So the last two shoutouts are from the one and only Bertel. Bertel has a shoutout that he wants to thank Shelley Sparks and Dax Steelspark and their firework record attempt at the Lions Roar Saturday the 5th. A spectacular event that brought the life of Stormwind, even if it's infested with a treasure goblins currently. great initiative, and outstanding organizing and execution. Also from Bertel, then, he has a shout out to the Murder Walk and the Groggery staff from Thursday, the 26th of June, in Tol Dagor. Proper spooky and very imaginative, amazing stories, especially Maisie Buffer Pump's story about a hidden secret prison cell that almost read out as a poem, highly disturbing and truly mind-boggling at the same time. And just generally, the Groggery staff and Maisie's amazing music.
Beep, 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 beep. Here is a news flash. Beep, 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 beep. Yes, everybody. Do you guys remember Reike and Mikkel? They are from the well, they used to be in Starlight, and now they're doing their own things. They were also in the Remarkable Life of Evelyn documentary. They were also guests on our show in the first season, and it was an amazing episode. I have news. Reike will be a grandmother, and Mikkel has been proposed to, I see, and in real life. So, hey, Mikkel's going to be a husband, and Reike is going to be a grandma. So, congratulations to you all, and may your lives be blessed.
Oh, congratulations, everyone.
That's such a nice bit of news there.
Yes.
Oh.
And now, lastly for the shout-outs, I was wondering if Zach has anything he wants to close us off with?
Sure, yeah. Shout out to all my wonderful guildies in Law and Order. You guys are great. Too many to mention right now, but yeah, a great guild. Very welcoming and a friendly community.
Yes,
Fantastic.
indeed. And a home to the newbies.
Yep.
Yes.
And a home run for us.
Yes.
And on that note, I believe, Vivian, you have a few funny stories for us.
I do. Time for the funny bits. I have a couple. Yes. At the concert of Ela Lightris, everybody jumped into the water afterwards. And Vivian jumped into the sea with her Murloc floaty. So she was floating around with her Murloc floaty. Without it, she would sink like a brick. But Hamfist, yes, here we go again. Hamfist just charged in the nude, skinny dipping. And Vivian accidentally flipped over. So she was now upside down, hanging in her floaty. And she had a very nasty view of Hamfist.
Oh no, poor Vivian. I left before that happened, but I did nearly get to toss a Volpera at a big Pandaren.
I have a little secret funny story from that event, actually. It happened while I was playing the different music. During the second half, one of the songs had a big instrumental. I believe it's the Billie Eilish song, where Ella looked away towards the sea. During that, my storyteller crashed.
Oh no!
Oh no!
So actually, while Ella was looking out and not saying anything, I was scrambling to put the lyrics back onto my storyteller.
Oh, stressful.
Oh, at least it was in the instrumental.
I have two Hamfist quotes. One of them was when he was talking to Kari's a Draenei, so Hamfist said, so, I should do it in a Hamfist voice, so, how come you chose to swim wearing your hooves and not your feet? That's absolutely Hamfist's voice. And he also said, I am sweating like a panther in heat.
Wow.
Hamfist, I don't know if you know this, but this is now your voice reference. You can change it in your TRP. Right, another funny bit I have. I don't know if I have to pronounce this as Stoen or Stoen. It's the gnome from Starlight. I'll just say the Dutch pronunciation, Stoen. Stoen, Urag, and Vivian were chatting. And Vivian asked Stoen why he was saying the word it so often. It's a bit of a stop word he has. He does it like several times per sentence. Stoen didn't really know why, and said something to Vivian in the lines of, And Vivian said something in the lines of, well, it could be worse. It could have been shit or something. To which Stu replied, true, it. Then people would think I was from Old Town or something. And Vivian said, like me. And Stoon continued quickly with, oh, sorry, Old Town is a place in Stormwind that that Miss Vivian is from. And it is a nice place, and there's nothing wrong with it. And then he unconvincingly nodded.
Well then.
Then we have Drossin. Drossin managed to pick Vivian off. Vivian hissed at him, and Drossin the troll said, don't hiss at me. I will hiss back. I once hissed at the snake so dreadfully, it wrote me a note of apology.
Oh.
Oh, I love these funny moments.
I RP like every night, so there's almost always a funny bit somewhere.
Oh yeah, there always is. This is why I get into roleplay, because there's such moments like this all the time.
So my apologies that most of my funny bits are very Viv centered, but that's because I experienced them on Viv.
Viv, the friendly Forsaken.
Who sticks random things in her eye sockets.
Yeah. On that note, do we have any announcements?
from the
I just had
changes-
the right Mickle one.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from the changes we've made to the podcast,
Oh yes.
probably mentioned them in this episode.
The change. Yeah, we intend to do a couple of changes. They're all listed in the announcement room of our Discord server. There's also, I believe, an upcoming feature which should hopefully be on our next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So you'll have to.
Were you announcing it? Go ahead.
No, I was about to say you need to tune in next time for it. But if you want to announce it, then.
Very, very well, very well.
Okay.
We have something special coming up for you in the next episode. It is a quiz. And that is not all, ladies and gentlemen. No, you have a chance to win free art of your character. So stay tuned and come back in the next podcast.
Is that true?
Actually, don't stay tuned because you'll be stuck there for 2 weeks. It's still two weeks till the next one. But yes, come back to us then, and you have a chance to win some free art of your character.
23rd of July, put it in your calendars.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, joining us that episode, I believe we can mention the idea for a quiz episode came from Brescia Gorsong, as mentioned in the calendar, who does the Shaman Circles.
Yep.
She will be hosting our first quiz episode.
We will kidnap her and pull her in here and force her to do it.
No, it was her idea.
Basement.
We gotta give credit where it's due. It was her idea.
Yes.
I am looking forward to it.
I am as well, just to see how much lore knowledge we all have, and who's going to make a complete idiot of themselves, which is probably going to be me.
Yes.
Us!
Thank you, Ella.
Yes.
It's all a bit of fun.
Yeah, it's all a bit of fun, of course it is.
I do think Ella and Zoo know the most about the lore of
Oh, we'll
all
see,
of us.
won't we? We'll see.
I believe how we'll be doing it as well is whoever wins that one will then be the quizmaster for the next.
Oh, goody.
Oh, goody, yes.
Then I won't have to do it next time. Oh, sorry. Continue.
That doesn't mean you get to intentionally do badly just because, Vivian.
No, actually, I would love to host a quiz sometime. We'll find a way.
Yeah, we'll
And
find a
do
way.
your
I'm sure we
best to
will.
win.
We will. And unless there are any other things we should add, any announcements before we end?
Zach, perhaps? Do you have any last words? Now that you've
No,
been
just
arguing-
thank you for inviting me. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Absolutely, thank you for coming.
Really enjoyed having you.
Mm-hmm. It's been
And
interesting.
good luck with Law and Order.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. If no one has anything else to say, then I shall bring this episode to a close. Thank you very much, as always, for tuning in. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. We are also on Blue Sky, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, so feel free to look for our podcast there as well. And until next time, everyone, thank you very much for listening, and thank you again to Zach for being a part of this episode. But yeah, see you in 2 weeks, hopefully, for the fun quiz show. But
Let's
before
go
then,
season
bye for now.
3.
Sorry, Ella.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
See you in the next
Goodbye, it is.
episode.
Goodbye, it is.
I was just
Bye-bye.
saying, let's go season 3.
Be seeing ya.
Farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.